Every human being is born with unlimited potential, but not everyone taps into it. Some people live their whole lives sitting on the edge of greatness, hoping success will knock on their door, not realizing they already hold the key. And that key, my friend, is not found in your background, your education, or your bank account. It's found in your beliefs, your discipline, and the business skills you develop with focused intent. Here's the truth. God did not create you to play small. You were not designed to merely survive. You were designed to dominate, to reign in your calling, to serve others so powerfully that they can't help but reward you in abundance. But there's a process, there's a path, there's a set of business skills that, when understood and applied, lead to multiplication, not addition, multiplication of impact, income, and influence. People say money isn't everything. That's true. But when you're broke, it affects everything. Your health, your relationships, your dreams. Financial struggle becomes a prison, and it's time you broke out. The marketplace rewards those who solve problems, and guess what? Millionaires aren't born, they're built. And they're built through mastery of specific business skills that generate value at scale. This is not a get-rich-quick gimmick. This is about alignment with your God-given assignment. It's about tapping into divine principles, fusing them with marketplace excellence, and multiplying your results. You don't have to chase money. Money will chase you when you become a person of high value. When you understand how to position, communicate, and serve, you create transformation, and transformation is always profitable. Too many people want million-dollar results with minimum effort. They want the harvest without planting the seed. They want success without sweat, but it doesn't work like that. Faith without works is dead. If you want to earn millions, you have to become the kind of person who can manage millions. That's not just about what you do, it's about who you become. In this speech, I'm going to break down the exact business skills that make millions. And I'm not talking theory, I'm talking what works, what multiplies, what scales. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a coach, a speaker, a consultant, or someone who knows they're called for more, this message is your divine confirmation. You are one skill away from the breakthrough you've been praying for, one mindset shift away from the favor you've been seeking, one decision away from the millions you've been imagining. Let's stop playing small. Let's activate the skills that unlock heaven's overflow. Let's build legacy, let's create wealth that serves, and let's begin. Most people think they're selling a product or a service. That's where they miss the mark, because people don't wake up wanting a product, they wake up desperate for a solution. They don't want your course, your coaching, your program, or your widget. What they truly want is the outcome your offer provides. They want transformation, not information. They want freedom, not features. And when you understand this, everything changes. Crafting an irresistible offer isn't about stacking more stuff. It's not about how many modules you have, how many bonuses you throw in, or how long the program lasts. It's about one thing, clarity of transformation. The moment your ideal client sees your offer and says, "This is exactly what I need, and I need it now," you've nailed it. That is the power of clarity. People are drowning in noise. They don't want more information. They want a clear, simple path to a specific result. And your offer must be the bridge that gets them from pain to promise. Start by asking, what urgent problem are you solving? If your offer doesn't solve a painful, expensive, emotionally charged problem, it's going to struggle. Because people don't move unless they're in pain or passionate pursuit. When you design your offer, it must hit a nerve. It must speak directly to what's keeping your customer up at night. You want them to feel like you reached into their heart, pulled out their struggle, and said, "I can fix this." But here's where it goes deeper. The offer must also show a clear outcome. Don't sell 6 weeks of coaching. Sell freedom from burnout in 6 weeks. Don't sell brand strategy. Sell attract premium clients without chasing. People buy outcomes. They buy certainty. The more specific you are about the transformation, the more powerful your offer becomes. Specificity sells. Vagueness repels. Next, understand that the irresistibility of an offer doesn't come from what you say. It comes from how deeply it resonates with the buyer's identity. An irresistible offer is one that feels inevitable to say yes to. When your offer aligns with their desired identity, their future self, and their burning problem, they don't need to be convinced. They feel seen, understood, and invited into a new reality. And this is where so many people fall short. They try to sell logically when transformation is an emotional decision. Logic supports, emotion drives. Your offer must be framed emotionally, priced in alignment with value, and positioned as the most obvious next step for the right person. An irresistible offer doesn't chase people. It magnetizes them. It compels action. It carries a divine sense of urgency. It's not about marketing harder. It's about solving deeper. When you stop trying to look smart and start speaking directly to pain and promise, you stop being ignored and start being irresistible. For far too long, people have been taught that selling is something shady, something to be tolerated rather than embraced. But that mindset is rooted in fear, not truth. The truth is this: selling is not manipulation, it's service. It's not about pushing people into something they don't need. It's about guiding them towards something they deeply desire and desperately need. When you sell with integrity, conviction, and clarity, you're not taking from someone, you're giving them the opportunity for transformation. The moment you begin to see your offer as a solution and not a product, your posture shifts. You're no longer begging for a sale. You're offering someone a breakthrough. That's not sleazy, that's sacred. If what you offer genuinely changes lives, sets people free, solves painful problems, or creates new levels of freedom, then selling is your responsibility. Holding back would be selfish. If you truly care about people, you will do everything in your power to get your solution into their hands. Selling is ministry when you understand that your role is to serve someone at their point of need. A true sales conversation is not about closing, it's about opening. Opening someone's eyes to what's possible, opening someone's heart to believe again, opening someone's mind to a future they've stopped hoping for. You are not convincing, you are calling. You are not pushing, you are positioning them to win. And this is why you must sell with passion. Not hype, but holy conviction. If your solution matters, you must speak with urgency. Too many people water down their offer, hesitate in their pitch, or apologize for the price. But that hesitation transfers. If you're unsure, your buyer will be unsure. But if you are sold, they will be sold. When you present your offer with belief, boldness, and clarity, the person on the other side of the conversation can feel it. People don't buy what you do. They buy the energy, the certainty, and the transformation you carry. Selling is not about slick words or rehearsed scripts. It's about connection. When you see the person, not the payment, when you speak to their pain, not just their pocket. When you care more about their result than your revenue, the sale becomes natural. People can tell when you're trying to get something from them versus trying to give something to them. And that's the difference between sleaze and service. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs and coaches make is pricing their offers based on fear, not value. They look at what others are charging, worry about being too expensive, and end up undercharging for something that could radically change lives. But here's the truth. High-ticket positioning isn't about greed. It's about alignment. It's about recognizing the value of the transformation you provide and having the boldness to charge accordingly. Because people do not value what comes cheap. They value what demands commitment, and money is a tool that activates that commitment. When you charge low, you invite low commitment. When you price for convenience, you attract people looking for a bargain, not a breakthrough. But when you price for transformation, you set a standard. You communicate that what you offer is not just a product. It's a powerful shift. You're not selling information, you're offering elevation, and elevation has a price. It costs something, not just to create, but to receive. If someone is stuck in a painful cycle, the greatest gift you can give them is the chance to invest in a future that looks radically different. That kind of future doesn't come through cheap fixes. It comes through high-level decisions, and high-level decisions often require high-level investments. When someone pays more, they show up differently. They take it seriously. They do the work, and they get the results. High-ticket pricing also positions you as an authority. It signals that you're not just another voice in a crowded marketplace. It tells your audience that you are confident in the outcome you deliver, and that you have the track record, the skill set, and the boldness to back it up. People want to work with experts, not amateurs. When you price yourself like a leader, you attract people who are ready to be led. But none of this works if you don't believe in the value of what you carry. That's why high-ticket positioning starts with mindset. You must understand that what you offer is not common. You must see that your knowledge, your experience, your process, it's all valuable. And when it changes lives, it should be priced in proportion to that impact. There's nothing holy about being underpaid for the work you're called to do. You can serve deeply and charge boldly. You can be purpose-driven and profit-aligned. They are not enemies. They are partners. So stop apologizing for your price. Stop negotiating with people who don't see the value. Stop shrinking your offer to fit someone else's budget. Instead, elevate your belief, articulate the transformation, and stand in the worth of what you deliver. Because the right people won't just pay, they'll thank you for giving them the opportunity to invest at that level. They'll see the price not as a cost, but as a door to freedom. The difference between someone stuck in hustle mode and someone scaling with ease often comes down to one word: systems. Systems are the invisible engines behind sustainable success. They take what you do well manually and turn it into something that works automatically, repeatedly, and predictably. The truth is, millionaires don't get rich by working harder. They get rich by working smarter. They don't trade time for money. They build systems that keep producing, even when they're sleeping, traveling, or spending time with their family. Systems are the foundation of true freedom. Many entrepreneurs wear their busyness like a badge of honor. But being busy is not the goal. Being effective is. You weren't created to grind until you burn out. You were created to build something that lasts. And you cannot build anything sustainable without systems. Systems give structure to your genius. They allow your brilliance to be delivered consistently. Without them, you're just winging it, and you will always hit a ceiling. A system is simply a process with a plan. It's a repeatable way to get a consistent result. Whether it's your lead generation, your sales funnel, your onboarding process, or your client delivery, every part of your business can and should be systematized. The moment you turn a manual task into a repeatable process, you free yourself. The moment you automate that process using technology, you multiply yourself. This is where automation becomes your best friend. Automation doesn't mean disconnection. It means delegation to technology. It allows you to communicate with leads, deliver content, follow up with prospects, schedule appointments, and even close sales without being involved in every step. Automation doesn't remove the human touch. It enhances it by letting you focus your energy where it matters most. You get to show up where your presence has the greatest impact and let the system handle the rest. Millionaires don't answer every email. They don't manually follow up with every lead. They don't launch something new every time they want to make money. They create automated systems that run on their behalf, funnels that educate and convert, email sequences that nurture relationships, platforms that deliver value around the clock. They've shifted from being the engine of their business to being the architect. And here's the key: systems don't replace your effort. They multiply the impact of your effort. When you put in the work to build a system once, it works for you forever. That's leverage. That's wisdom. That's the path to scaling without selling your soul. So if you're still stuck doing everything manually, ask yourself, how can I turn this into a system? How can I automate this without losing quality? Because the goal is not just income, it's freedom. And freedom doesn't come from working more hours. It comes from building smarter systems. When your systems work, you're not just making money, you're building legacy. In a world obsessed with numbers, it's easy to believe that influence is measured by how many followers you have, how many views your content gets, or how viral your latest post went. But real business success, especially in the high-ticket and transformational space, is not built on vanity metrics. It's built on real connection. You don't need millions of followers to build $1 million brand. You need the right audience, an aligned, engaged, and hungry audience. And you attract that not by being popular, but by being authentic. Authenticity is your superpower in the digital age. When everyone is busy performing, pretending, and perfecting their highlight reels, your willingness to be real is what cuts through the noise. People aren't looking for perfect, they're looking for truth. They want someone who understands their struggles, speaks their language, and offers them a path forward. When you show up with vulnerability, transparency, and strength, the right people recognize you. You become more than a brand, you become a voice they trust. Building an audience through authenticity starts with knowing exactly who you're talking to. Not the world, not the masses, but one person, your ideal client, in their moment of pain, doubt, or desire. Speak directly to them. Let your content, your messaging, your stories reflect not only your solution, but also their reality. When people feel like you're describing their situation better than they can, they start to believe you might be the one who can lead them out of it. And it's not about shouting louder, it's about speaking clearer. Clarity is magnetic. When you clearly articulate the problem, paint the vision of the solution, and back it up with consistent value, people lean in. They follow, not just because you're interesting, but because you're relevant. Your content doesn't just entertain, it shifts something inside them. That's the power of being authentic and intentional with your voice. The beautiful thing about this kind of audience is that it doesn't take hundreds of thousands of people. A loyal, focused audience of just 1,000 aligned people who know you, trust you, and are ready for the transformation you offer, can generate more revenue than an audience of 100 100, 0, 0. Passive onlookers, you're not trying to be internet famous. You're building influence with people who are ready to act, invest, and grow. This kind of audience can't be faked or forced. It has to be earned. It's built through consistency, value, and truth. It's built by showing up when it's easy and especially when it's hard. It's built when you tell your story, share your wins, and admit your mistakes. That honesty builds equity, and equity builds trust. Scaling isn't just about doing more. It's about becoming more. And the pathway to that kind of growth doesn't start with strategy. It starts with surrender. It starts with focus grounded in faith. The world will tell you to hustle harder, to chase everything, to keep adding more and more to your plate. But multiplication doesn't come through scattered energy. It comes through divine alignment. You can't multiply if you're distracted. You can't scale if you're scattered. Focus is the force that unlocks favor. When you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being ineffective to everyone. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. The more options you chase, the more your momentum fragments. But when you eliminate the noise, when you quiet the chaos, when you say no to what's good so you can say yes to what's God, that's when doors begin to open. That's when grace shows up. That's when the right opportunities align with your purpose, not because you forced them, but because you were ready and focused. Faith is the anchor of that focus. It's the belief that you don't have to force what's already been written. It's the trust that what you carry is enough, and that what's ahead is greater than what's behind. When you build with faith, you're not just working for profit, you're working from purpose. You don't chase validation, you move in obedience. That kind of confidence creates clarity, and clarity is what fuels focused action. Scaling through faith means you stop building out of fear. You stop trying to keep up with everyone else's timeline, metrics, and models. You build based on assignment, not anxiety. You listen more than you scroll. You lean into what God has uniquely gifted you to do. Because when your gifts align with your calling, and your calling aligns with service, multiplication becomes natural. Not forced, not frantic, just fruitful. That fruitfulness is unlocked through intentional focus. Focus on one offer, one message, one path. It's not about doing less forever. It's about doing less for now, so you can do more with power later. Focus creates mastery, and mastery creates momentum. When you become known for one thing, the right clients find you, the right partnerships align with you, the right stages open to you, not because you're loud, but because you're clear. Put God first in your process, and He will order your steps. He will bring the right clients, the right revenue, and the right rest. Because scaling isn't about burning out, it's about building up, building people, building systems, building legacy. Let's bring this full circle because everything we've unpacked isn't just theory, it's divine strategy for building a business that multiplies income, impact, and influence. This is not about chasing money. This is about stepping into your assignment, walking in authority, and becoming the vessel through which transformation flows. The skills that make millions are not just technical. They are spiritual. They are rooted in identity, elevated through service, and refined through discipline. You don't just need more tactics, you need truth. And the truth is, you already have what it takes to succeed. You simply need to activate it. You now understand the power of crafting irresistible offers because people aren't just buying a product, they're buying the promise of change. You know that sales isn't something to fear, but something to embrace because selling, when done with love and clarity, is service. You've seen how height It positioning isn't about ego or greed, but about charging in alignment with the breakthrough you bring. You've realized that systems and automation aren't luxuries. They're necessities for freedom, for scale, for legacy. You've been reminded that you don't need everyone to follow you. You just need the right people to connect deeply with who you are and how you show up. And finally, you've seen that scaling doesn't come through stress and striving, but through focus and faith. Every skill you've heard about today is a piece of the larger puzzle. A blueprint that, when applied, positions you to serve at the highest level. Not in hustle, but in harmony. Not in fear, but in full authority. The truth is, wealth is attracted to value, and value is created through clarity, confidence, and consistency. This isn't about overnight success. It's about becoming the kind of person who can steward the level of success you're praying for. If you're asking God to expand your territory, you must also be willing to strengthen your foundation. This is your moment to decide. Will you keep treating your business like a side project, or will you rise up and treat it like the assignment it truly is? Will you keep downplaying your value, or will you boldly step into the marketplace as the solution someone is praying for right now? Because that's what this is really about, becoming the answer to someone else's problem. When you do that with excellence, money follows. Influence follows, impact follows. You're not here to compete. You're here to dominate. You're not here to fit in. You're here to lead. The skills that make millions aren't reserved for the chosen few. They're available to the committed, to the faithful, to the focused. If you apply what you've learned today with conviction, humility, and courage, everything changes. So go out and build like you're called. Speak like your voice matters. Serve like your work heals. Sell like your offer transforms. And lead like you're on assignment, because you are. The marketplace is waiting, the world is watching, and your moment is now.